Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
Good gracious me, I didn't think we were going to make it. What a catalogue of technical problems we have. The Gremlins are out in game week 1 already. I was determined we were going to do this, and even though it's 10:30 now, we're going to get cracking. Sorry we're late, sorry for the problems we've had, but we are finally here. Good evening, gentlemen. How do I find you, Granville?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Stressed and a little bit coming down with man flu, but that's part and parcel of the Scoutcast, isn't it? One of us is going to have man flu. Jonty, how are you feeling?
Yeah, good. A little tired at this late hour, but I'm, still ready to go. Ready for action.
Sorry about that. And Andy, you all right? Decent game week, top of the pile for you?
Exactly. Yeah, very happy actually with how things went. Bit mediocre in terms of general, but yeah, I think it was pretty good.
Mediocre is the order of the day. These are four gentlemen who are going to try and convince you at anything but average, but after a very, very average game week 1, we're going to look back on that, aren't we, John T? And we've got lots of questions in the community. We're going to try our best to give semi-decent answers, but let's be fair, it wasn't a sparkling start to the season, was it, for us?
No. We got. Yeah. Should we? Do you want me to have a go through my week?
Well, you got 50 points, didn't you? So so there's about 6 points separating the four of us. It was hardly spectacular stuff, and you started with 50. What was the story of that? Was there anything major to talk about?
I'm bizarrely quite happy with that. That's actually better than my usual start. I'm in the top million. I usually have a terrible start. So above the average. Hazard the star for me. Vardy the villain. I've kept money in the bank though, so I've got a flexible Vardy. Had a huge bench score, 27 points. Should have played my bench attack. But all my other players, even though they didn't get points in, I was really happy with. Tadic performed really well. Going to be points there. Firmino, Kapuri got points in. I've nailed my goalkeepers. Heaton, Foster. I've got Stones. Think I'm going to get points from him soon. Valencia. Yeah, I'm really happy with my squad. Except
27 points on the bench. That's quite a lot. I can tell you now that the biggest total on the bench is 40 points. So you weren't far off that. So what was that? Foster. A bit. Who else was on there? A bit of Kapuri
Foster. I double West Brom defence. So once again, pleased with that going forward. Happy with that. Kapuri, 10 points there. I think Peters from Stoke, my only one, was kind of 2 points. There's 3 stages of points on the bench. The first stage is you want the points in your team. The second best is having them on the bench because they maintain value and you can call on them in future game weeks. The third one's the worst. You've got a rubbish bench and a rubbish team. That's what you don't want.
It's fair enough. Okay, Granville, over to you. What was it, 51, 52?
Yeah. Well, John T always puts a positive spin on everything he does.
Tries.
And I'm kind of the opposite, the ultimate pessimist. I have, things went wrong, things went right too. I ended up going with Mahrez and Vardy in the end. I was oohing and ahhing. I did have Marshall in there instead of Mahrez. Then I actually switched Lamela and also Ibrahimovic, but in the end I just went with Mahrez and Vardy. And Mahrez was kind of quite fortunate, I thought. I don't think he had a particularly good game. Vardy was never really in it, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to give up on them just at the minute. I am concerned a bit about Vardy, that he might go down in price. Elsewhere, I picked up the injury on Monday. That's kind of typical. 1 game week, 1 injury.
Well, your season wouldn't be the same without injuries strewn everywhere, would it?
And Deulofeu didn't really produce. I was banking on him. He had a chance in the first half and blew it. And then at the back, I had Foster. So that's one thing that did work out well for me, picking Foster over Ibrahimovic. And that's it, really. I mean, the other thing was Aguero. Everyone had Aguero. And on the bench, I didn't really have any points on the bench. Not like John T. I've got no Kapua. I probably wouldn't have played him anyway had I had him. So pretty average, but I'm within 5 points of Andy and same points as you, so I've got to be happy about that.
Yeah,
not too far behind.
It's all we all did pretty average. I mean, in the contributors league, I think that Facer got 80 points and so he flew away. But it's just difficult to say. Andy, you're quite happy with your 56 though, are you?
Yeah, I'm a bit like Johnny really. 56 for a general week isn't that great, but I think it was almost relief. There was so many thoughts going through my head there was going to be another repeat of last year. We were so happy and excited last week. I thought, what if we get another 25 points? It's going to be a nightmare. So yeah, 56. And like Granville, I'm pretty happy with my team. There's no one I really raring to get rid of, which I usually am. Anyone who didn't perform, I'm pretty happy to keep and see how they go. Like Firmino, getting four goals and no input is a bit annoying, but it could be the complete opposite next week. So yeah, I'm pretty happy, and there's no one I'm raring to get rid of really.
Yeah, maybe we're easily pleased after game week 1 last season, which was a bit of a disaster for everyone. Yeah. Me myself, I think that I was pleased. I was pleased with Mahrez getting the penalty. That was a big bonus. Wasn't expecting that. I was kind of hoping that he would be on penalties, and when that was awarded, and I saw Vardy wandering outside the box, I was like, oh, very good, that'll do. So that was a big plus. Then it's a bit of a meh after that, really. Ibrahimovic scoring was a blow because obviously I backed Kane. I'm really worried about Kane. I don't know if we're going to be talking about him later on, but if not, I'll talk about that at the end. And then Monday night I had to watch Chelsea West Ham without any players at all, which is not. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like watching a game without any, especially with two big teams like that, without a player involved. And Hazard got the penalty. We were wrong about Oscar taking pens. That didn't happen for some reason. And Oscar, Hazard delivered. Jonty, you got Hazard, haven't you? So you must have been happy about that. I mean, you thought he wasn't on pen, surely?
No, I was convinced. He hasn't been on penalty since last December. And I mean, he literally wrestled it off Oscar. He went up to Oscar, and this was reported during the match. He went up to Oscar and says, "No, that's my turn now." So whether that means they're going to take turns, or whether it means my turn, as in it's my turn for the next season. We don't know, but yeah, you've got to be happy with that. But also because of Hazard's overall play, he was the best player on the pitch, man of the match in Sky, and 3 bonus points. You don't get 3 bonus points just from scoring 1 penalty. So he did really well. So I'm really pleased about that, and pleased I went with him, as you should be with Mahrez as well. Mahrez on penalties over Vardy, big shot. There you go. We've got that sorted.
Yeah, no, I think that is a big thing with those two, because I think without penalties, they're going to struggle to get 10 goals. But suddenly now you think, well, that should be possible for both of them. Mahrez, I was pretty impressed with. I mean, he got a lot more of the ball in that game than he had even last season. So I thought he did all right. I don't think Leicester were very impressive at all. I thought Vardy was. I don't know, he just didn't get any of the ball. I don't know whether it's the way they're set up. I think Ranieri just got it wrong, not playing Okazaki. It just seemed to unbalance the team a bit, and I think he'll go back to that. I think we'll see a different Leicester.
I think so, Mark. I think Musa, although he did look okay in the first half, second half he drifted. He played. He made a lot of kind of bad decisions as well. I think they just need to go back to what they know.
Yeah.
And then bring in Musa gradually. I mean, I think Musa's good. He'll be a good goal scorer. I'm just not convinced that the position that he was put in, really suits him. I think he's probably a bit better going through the middle now.
Okay, well, let's go on to the community questions. I'm sure, Jonty, there's been a big response again today.
Yeah, huge response as well. So let's start with having a look at Kane. So this is something I know that we've discussed many times before. I have this theory that has been proved correct week in, week out. You have a theory.
It's scientifically proved, isn't it, Jonty?
The stats and the experts are wrong. This is the theory. When Dembele doesn't play, Spurs don't play so well, Kane in particular doesn't play so well. Something happens, he doesn't shoot so much. We don't know why, he keeps drifting back in. And lo and behold, Dembele's suspended, he doesn't play. How many goal attempts did Kane get? None. Literally none. And it's not a case of, oh, well, Everton completely got the better of Spurs attacking-wise, because they didn't, because the Lamela got 3 shots. Inside the box as well. Janssen came on, 2 shots there, and then all their defenders had a pop at goal as well. So even Walker, Rose, and Toby A, they're all getting in on the action, but Kane wasn't. Not even a single shot for a striker of that price. That's not good. So once again, I think this is yet another example that Kane best avoided until Dembele's back. And Dembele is back. Kane's in my team.
I don't know. I'm worried about Kane because I saw some of the match and he looked off the pace. He was playing like he was for England. Like first touch was letting him down. He looked laboured. He didn't have a shot on goal, which is extraordinary. I mean, he averages 3.4 shots a game last season, so he normally manages to get a pop shot in from 20, 30 yards at the very least, even if he's being starved. I don't know what happened, but he's got 2 home games back to back, and so probably I need to be a bit more patient with him. Ibrahimovic scoring was a blow because that is the obvious replacement unless I scale back. But I think I've played this long enough to think, well, Kane is a 20-goal striker. He is going to score 20 goals this season. I'm pretty certain of that. So I'm going to give it more time with 2 home games to go. But I'm going to watch Spurs very carefully. I'll be able to watch the game and see how he plays. If he looks laboured again, if he looks off the pace, if he looks low on confidence, nothing to do with Dembele. That's just purely Kane's psyche. He's a player who feeds off confidence. So I'll probably get rid. Am I the only one who's got him though out of us 4?
Yeah, I think so.
I did have him, but I changed my mind and went for Vardy instead.
The
thing is, last season I started off with Kane, and it was a mistake because he took I don't think he scored for his first 7-8 games.
Yeah, it was game week 7 when he got his first goal.
He started really slow, and maybe this would be the case again.
But
yeah,
are you not worried about Janssen coming in as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's rumours about he may start the next game. He did pretty well when he came on.
Yeah, and then Kane could drop further back. I don't know. I just think a player like Kane is he's like Rooney in that he's going to play a part no matter what. If he drops to number 10, then absolutely, then I'll think about getting rid of him because I don't want him in that role, costing me 11 million. But
no.
I think I'm not worried enough where I'm going to immediately drop him before a home game with Crystal Palace. I think that would be silly. I think there's other issues that I want to address before I look at Kane, but he's definitely next in line. If he comes out the Palace game with nothing at all, or if he rolls in and gets 6-7 shots, then I'll be more patient. But if he turns up again and struggles to get anywhere near the goal, then I'm going to have to get rid of it. That's going to have to be my next transfer. You can't carry an £11 million player. And like Jonty says, I'll investigate again when his form looks good. I mean, the good thing about Kane is I think he's like Rooney in that when he's not on the money, when he's not on form, it's really obvious. There's something about his body language, there's something about the way he's involved in play. Yeah. So yeah, and Rooney's like that. So I think I'll be able to tell pretty early on. We'll know in the first 15 minutes whether Kane's on it or not, and then.
Well, I saw you saved 0.5 million, right? I think. Did I see your team right?
He's 11.
No, but did you save $500,000?
Yeah.
So who was that for Kane to Ibra, or was that just in?
No, it was actually for Van Dijk to Azpilicueta, which is probably my transfer this week. And also it was there in case Mahrez didn't produce, and then I could go Hazard. So that was the choice. But it's also there for Kane to Ibrahimovic, and I wanted to. Now the problem I got is Ibra plays on Friday. If he goes and scores on Friday, he might go up on Saturday. And I think does Spurs play on the Sunday? I believe they do. I'm not absolutely certain. So I don't know. I don't know what. I won't want to knee jerk and put Ibra in, even if he scores against Southampton.
What did you make? What do you make of Ibrahimovic's performance? Because I thought even that. I mean, he didn't really have any. He had the goal obviously, and he had the free kick. I don't recall him doing anything else in the box.
I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced. But like I said in this much we know, he found a way to score a goal again, didn't he? And he did this in the Community Shield, didn't he, John T? He just came. He was starved of involvement, but he got the goal at the end, and he did it. He had 2 shots, both from outside the box. Hardly classic stuff. He had 1 touch in the penalty area. So, but he finds a way, doesn't he?
Yeah, you were asking about you can't be the only one with Kane thinks sticking with him as well, and obviously comparing him to Ibrahimovic. Well, we had some latest stats. This is half the press from Cavalier, who's been analysing all these veterans, which is some of the most experienced, not us, but the best in the game. And obviously you would imagine the strikers, Aguero 98% owned, but then you've got Andre Gray 82%, Vardy 50%. So Vardy is very well owned there. Ibrahimovic just 30%. So 7 out of 10 of this veteran group, which all 3 of you are part of, don't have him. And then Kane down there at 18%. So Kane is a differential at the moment. So
he was last year, wasn't he? Do you remember this last year when Cavalli started this? Kane was a differential, but then we all got on him, didn't we? And the veteran group got on him a lot quicker than anybody else, and we benefited from that. And that's when we caught up a bit. Do you remember?
Yeah, but at the moment, he's not. But I mean, you mentioned about Ibrahimovic. So I mean, Atletico Timbo asked a question And you pointed to it as well, Zlatan, 2 goals in 2 games, but worrying stats. So let's look at Bournemouth. You know, he had 2 shots, none of which are in the box, yet he scores, so he finds a way. But one thing that Balders, one of our regulars at the community, pointed out, that's actually not good enough for Ibrahimovic. It's not that he will just thinking, oh, he's magic, some magic demigod from the planet football that will conjure up a goal from.
Well, he thinks he is.
No shots. He thinks he is, but he is actually a big shots in the box per game player. He needs a lot of them in order to score. And this is so. I mean, he's conjured up lots of stats from Barcelona, Milan, and PSG. And yeah, I mean, he is averaging, you know, for shots. He's, you know, for over a season, he's looking at 5.5 shots a game, some of them 5.3, 4.7. And shots in the box, he's getting 3. You know, bear in mind, in Bournemouth he had none. So his last season at PSG, he was getting 3.1 shots in the box on average. You know, around 3, 2.9 was his norm there.
Yeah, but that's playing in a league where the lesser teams are, you know, of a really poor standard. So that is why those stats are there. And so do we think, though, with the stats that he's generating at the moment in the Premier League, that 20 goals is in doubt? Is that
well, I think the lesser teams are of quite a poor standard in the Premier League, or at least they were last season. So when they're Villa, I mean, well, I'd love to see Villa try and manage to stay in the French top division, and perhaps the same this season as well. Now, Bournemouth, you know, they've had a season in there, but they haven't really strengthened dramatically, I don't think. Yeah, well, they shipped quite a few goals at home to Manchester United, so we're gonna see a bit more of that, perhaps, if we think the bigger teams are getting better this season.
So John, did you put it down to Ibra being a fading star, rather than the fact that the standard opposition in France wasn't as strong, so therefore that's why the stats were skewed? Or what's your theory on it? Well,
yeah, I mean, his stats have got slowly. His shots. I mean, there is an argument, obviously, that the French league is obviously not as strong as, say, the Italian league when he was at Milan, or obviously the Spanish league when he was at Barcelona as well. But yeah, no, I think what it is it's hard to tell. We've only had 1 game. We've had a community shield. What I'm interested in doing is just looking and keeping tabs on how many shots he takes, how many shots in the box. Obviously, we can all see the goals, but I'll be looking at that. So over like a 4 or 5 game period, I'd like to see more shots in the box and more shots from him, because that will indicate that he's gonna be like he has been the last few seasons. He's gonna average about 5 shots, average 3 in the box, average a goal a game. That's what I'd like to see.
Are you surprised that only 30% of the veteran group have got him? That shocks me, actually. I thought it'd be a little bit more than that.
I think we're kind of focusing quite a lot on Ibrahimovic and his previous record, rather than looking at the team that he's come into, United, and the struggles that they had last year with creating chances and scoring goals. It was still nowhere near the finished article. I mean, that's why he's bought Pogba. We need a lot more dynamism, particularly in midfield. And you saw that. You saw exactly the same pattern of play against Bournemouth that we saw all last season. I know they scored goals because they're quite, you know, when it comes to it, they've got the better goal scorers like Rooney and Ibrahimovic, and so they will win games, but they won't dominate them in terms. Well, at the minute, they won't dominate it in terms of, you know, like loads and loads of chances, loads of shots and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen for quite a while yet. So we've got to rely on the clinical finishing of Ibrahimovic, which is there, and he'll still score goals. It's just that I don't think. I think it would just take time for Mourinho to mould this team into a team that will be creating lots and lots of chances.
My theory, Andy, is that when Pogba comes in, he'll be charged with getting beyond Rooney and Ibrahimovic. The way I look at the way Ibra plays, he seems to want to come deep, dictate play, nice little touches here and there, nice little flicks. Rooney's actually doing more running and seeing more of the ball than he did last season. But I think Pogba's going to come in, and surely Mourinho's going to go, well, you just bomb on. When Ibra, you know, play it up to it, but bomb on, go beyond him. Is that the way you think it's going to go?
Yeah, potentially. I think one player actually played pretty well against Bournemouth was Fellaini. So if he can be there to cut out the balls if Pogba's going forward, then, you know, that might be an option. But the other problem is, like you said, Zlatan was coming deep, and on the wings we had Martial, who didn't play. He got 2 assists, but he didn't play that well. He got very lucky with those 2 assists. And then on the other one we had Mata, so it's not like we had a lot of pace either. So I think I agree with Granville. I think it's not just Ibra that's the problem. It's like we said last week, it's Man United that the problem. And even when Pogba comes in, I wouldn't expect us to start freely scoring goals. Yes, we scored 3. The first one was gifted for Mata. That was just absolutely awful defending. And like I said, Martial 2 assists, but they were pretty jammy. So, yeah, I guess the reason is just price right now. But I tell you what would have made a difference. If we got given a penalty and Ibra had taken it, everyone would have him right now, I think.
Do we think Ibra's going to definitely get penalties? There seems to be an opinion that he is, but I'm not so sure.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I mean, you could give them to him. He's the new main man, and he's taken them before. But yeah, I don't know. We just don't know. You can't bank on that. I don't think it's worth bringing in someone 11.5. You think just because they're going to maybe get penalties.
Well, he's also got free kicks as well.
Yeah,
I mean, when I saw him lining up for that free kick, I thought, oh, here goes. I really fancied him, and he could have scored, but he's just got such a shot on him. I think he can score from outside the box, inside the box, and I think he will be on penalties.
I've got to think. I was watching the game, and as someone who doesn't own him, I don't know how you felt, but I was worried about it when he lined up behind that free kick. It wasn't very comfortable. You looked at it and went, this is a goal, isn't it? It's like watching a match without Aguero, which not many of us do very often. But I had that spell last season where I watched 3 or 4 games without him, and it was torturous. I'm still definitely on the. When the Aguero-Ibrahimovic head-to-head, I'm definitely with Aguero. Hat-trick tonight, full of confidence. But it isn't pleasant watching United play. I'm not going to enjoy a Friday night without Ibrahimovic in my team. John T, next question. Should we move on?
Yeah, well, let's go. Yeah, let's have enough of these strikers. What about the midfielders? And the place to go for that is Liverpool, especially when they're visiting Arsenal. So they're absolutely chock-a-block full of absolute raging, attacking goal talent in their midfield. And so I mean, I'm starting to think: is it time to double up on their midfield? They were that impressive. So we all know that Coutinho got the goals. Mane, amazing individual goal. If no one has seen it yet, please do. It's incredible. And then Firmino had really good underlying stats. He didn't quite get on the score sheet though. So in terms of shots in the box, Firmino was up there with Coutinho and Mane. And he was, created a chance as well. And Lallana as well is doing well, chipping in as well. There's a huge amount of talent there. So Leji and Boris both ask about the Liverpool midfields. What do we think about them? Is it worth doubling up? Who is the best one to get? So I mean, I still think I'm sticking with Firmino. Very promising underlying stats. I'm still happy with him. I still have a slight fear from last season about Coutinho. Yes, he has these spells of 2 goals and then nothing for 8 games. Mane, I think, is really good. If I had a spare 9 million shaped hole in my midfield, I would double up on Firmino and Mane at the moment, especially with a trip to Burnley to go. I think they look great. I think they've got no Europe. I think a bit like with Leicester last season, perfect storm. No Europe. Pretty much, focusing on the Premier League, injury-free. So if Liverpool can stay like that, I think we could be looking at a lot of points there. So yeah, I don't know what you lot think. I mean, Granville. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, you're probably not so keen on them.
Well, no, I mean, I'll make a point on Coutinho because I don't know if you remember last season that I had Coutinho and I sold him. I think I got a couple of assists and I sold him, and he scored then. Was it 4 games on the run? Yeah. And it was a disastrous transfer, but there you go. So I think he's definitely a player who'll go on a run, and maybe this is the start of his run. I'm not so sure that because I watched the game and I don't actually recall Firmino having any shots, but I'm obviously wrong. But I didn't really see him. I saw him more of a decoy.
We had 4 goal attempts, and 3 of them were inside the box. So he's near enough.
The other thing as well is that they won't be playing Arsenal every week. They certainly won't be playing Arsenal without the 2 main central defenders and a dodgy game plan.
We've seen it from Klopp's team before, though, isn't he? They can do this kind of really destructive football. They tore Man City apart last year, and Firmino had a field day in that one. They've got this knack of just clicking sometimes and finding a way of just destroying teams in spectacular style. They won't win 1-0; they'll win 4-1.
They beat Barcelona in the season, didn't they? 4-0. And then got beat 4-0 the next game. Yeah, so it's because and the fullbacks bomb on, and it's just all out attack sometimes and overwhelming stuff. And for 20 minutes in that match in the second half, Arsenal didn't know what to do with them, did they? And
I don't know. It was. I mean, we've all got Firmino, haven't we? I believe. I mean, certainly.
Not me.
Okay. Well, we were backing him anyway. That was our choice. We discussed it last week, and he was the only one out of their 5 most owned midfielders. He was the only one not to get anything out of the game. When Alden got something, Lallana got something. It was unfortunate. Again, it's like Kane. I got to look at it and think, well, I don't want to knee jerk him out, and I could afford to go and get Mane. I could obviously get Coutinho, but I just don't want to. We know it's 1 week, and we know what Coutinho is like. He scored this incredible free kick. He's capable of doing that. The second goal was actually more interesting for me because you're right. That's not the type of goal I associate with Coutinho. In fact, when it went in, I automatically presumed, Firmino's got me the goal because I wasn't expecting Coutinho to pop up there. Do we think? I mean, a lot of people have transferred him in. It's going to be a price rise tonight. Andy, do you think he's got it in him to become to edge into the heavy hitter bracket, or do you think he's always going to be frustrating?
I'd probably err towards frustrating. I think from that one match, he does seem to have been in the area a bit more. In fact, he had more touches, or nearly as many touches as Firmino in the box. So I just still like Graham, but I have pictures from last year of a lot of shooting from outside the box, and I just wonder if he's going to revert back to that eventually. So yeah, I mean, doubling up after one game, not for me. I'd like to see how they perform because I remember last year I think they kept beating the big teams and then they struggle against the so-called weaker teams. So yeah, I wouldn't be doubling up right now, and he could become a heavy hitter, but I'd like to see a bit more from him first. I don't think because he hasn't done it in the past. I want to see some consistency.
Do you think anything's going to change when? Sorry, do you think anything's going to change when Sturridge comes back?
Well, this is it. I think then Firmino moves out to Lallana's spot and Lallana struggles to get in. I think we know that Klopp loves Firmino and he'll always find a spot for him. John T, what would it take? I mean, what does Coutinho have to do before you're starting to waver a bit on Coutinho on Firmino?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as Granville said, he can go 4 games like this and then nothing. All the goals. I don't know. It's partly kind of a slight prejudice over the years of owning Coutinho. When he first came to Liverpool, he was quite a mainstay on my team. And he was great. He was quite consistent actually with points. The odd assist here, a goal here. But I think I tend to try and steer away from the ones that you get these kind of like a brace and then nothing. But yeah, I mean, it's one to monitor. And the good thing about owning Firmino is that yes, Coutinho looks like a price rise. But I've still got 0.5 currently, and it's probably be 0.4 over him. So I could easily make that move down. But as I said, Mane was the one that impressed me the most. And we also know that he's capable of hat-tricks at the drop of a trick, so to speak. So yeah, I think he's he'd be the one for me. But
I don't know if I can go back to Mane though. I'd love to be able to trust him, but I just hope Firmino gets me something at Burnley and allows me to keep him. I don't want to go in a game week 3 with Kane and Firmino and doubts over those two. It's too much money. I need one of them to deliver so I can focus my efforts elsewhere. That could be a nightmare. If Coutinho delivers again, Firmino blanks, and Kane does the same, I've got problems. So it's a big weekend, that one for me. A question on Hazard, John T.
Yeah. So I mean, is he essential? Wise Al asks, is Hazard essential? No. I mean, no player's essential. I think, but very promising. I said he was pretty good. I thought he was the best player in the match, and he looks to be on penalties. Chelsea have great fixtures. I mean, everything clicks there, and I still think he's the best option for Chelsea. I think he'll be be very heavily involved in their goals. I think he's a bit more trustworthy than Costa. Costa looks like he'd get sent off at any moment. How he doesn't is amazing. Yeah, I think he's good. And,
yeah, I just don't see him being essential at 10 million. That's the problem. I think if he was down to 9, I think there'd be a case. But when you look at the likes of Payet and Mahrez that are there will be periods of the season where I think Mahrez and Payet will outscore him. I don't think there's any doubt of that. I don't know if Hazard is going to be explosive enough as he was in his debut season this season yet. I think I saw him against West Ham. He was probably the most lively attacking player on the pitch. I didn't think it was a classic match. I didn't think it was a great performance by either team. I don't think Hazard did enough to make us get carried away and go he's essential yet. I looked at his threat compared to his debut season. It was nowhere near what he was producing on average in that season yet. So I think it's two or three more games before we see if Hazard is back to his best. But I just think in that bracket there's so much talent now, and I'm still thinking Mahrez is going to outscore him, and I probably think Payet will as well once he's in the team and fit. So for me, no, not at 10 million. Granville, what's your thoughts on Hazard?
No, I'm with you actually on Hazard at this minute. We'll see that that's the case. If he starts scoring goals, then I think we'll change our minds pretty quickly because we know he does have potential. I think Costa is an interesting one as well. I know he's not on penalties, which will kind of detract from his price. I mean, his price is 9.5.
He's not expensive. On bonus either, is he? He's not allowed to get bonus points. That's right.
Well, he's not, and he's a yellow card magnet. But he could be an option if you didn't want to give up a spot for Hazard, and he's slightly cheaper. I don't know. I think it was just be. The thing is with Chelsea and penalties, they do get a few. And he's bound to score goals that Hazard. He just is, and he's going to be there or thereabouts. Oscar's another one who could be a sort of Hazard light, someone who can chip in now and again. So I'm just going to monitor it for now and see, because I'm not diving in for a 10 million midfielder. I'm probably wrong. I have been wrong about him before.
Andy, do you think Hazard's got... I just don't know whether Hazard's got games where he's going to get a couple of goals and an assist. I think he'll chip away, he'll get goals and penalties. Obviously, we know he got 3 in his debut season out. He's 14 goals, he got 3 penalties. Nothing spectacular. 14 goals could be in his reach, but I don't see him being as destructive as I think Mahrez and Payet can be. I think Mahrez and Payet can deliver double figures in games quite consistently. I'm not so sure about Hazard, but then he often gets bonus. What's your view on him?
Yeah, I mean, essential. I don't think it's not after 1 week. If Sanchez or De Bruyne does well next week, they'll be the next essential one.
Yeah,
so,
we haven't even mentioned those two. Yeah.
Exactly, but I don't know. Like, forget last season. We all know he had an awful time. But before that, he scored 190 is the minimum he scored. So he's been fairly consistent. People have said he looked pretty good. He looked good in the Euros and the last season. And now he's got penalties back. I think he's going to be value for 10 million. Probably not essential, and you're probably. I don't know if you want to captain him too much because you're right. He doesn't score braces that often, but he does get bonus, so he's quite consistent. So I'm really happy to have him in my team, and hope he carries on like that. I wouldn't necessarily be mad rushing to get him in, but the next 2 fixtures are pretty nice with Burnley at home and is it Watford away, I think.
Yeah, Watford away next. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be like taking hits or anything to bring him in, but if you've got him, then I think you've got to be happy, and I think he'd be value 10 million.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm quite worried actually because against Watford gave up so many chances at the weekend. I think Chelsea will have a right go at them. I think they're going to score goals. We just have to hope that it's not Hazard.
But the thing is, we don't know though. We don't know what it's Conte versus Mazzari, and it's going to be quite you think it'd be quite a cagey battle. Conte's away tactics could be very different to what we saw against West Ham. So I think we need to see what they're like away from home. Remember, Hazard had that run. Even in his debut season, where he just wasn't doing it away from home, was he? Do you remember, John T? It was just bizarre. It's just all about the home form. I think he got 11 of his 14 at home.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Is that going to happen again?
Well, we don't know. I mean, this is a new season, new manager. Before we went on air, we were talking a bit about Chelsea, and one of the things I was impressed with Conte is they had a plan B. So, Batshuayi came on, they had options suddenly, and they changed the way they played. So sometimes he's going to start with 2 strikers, sometimes he's just going to start with Costa, sometimes Hazard's going to play just behind him, sometimes Hazard's going to be on the wing. But lots of options, lots of flexibility. We don't know whether that's going to divide in home and away, easy home, tough home. We can't make these decisions on one game. Very promising so far. Let's see how he does away, let's see how he does at home again, and then come back to him. But I'm happy to have him on my side.
Next question, we can talk about Leicester, I believe.
Yeah, well, we talked a bit about Leicester. So, you've got Mahrez, myself, and Andy. I don't know if Granville as well. You've got Vardy as well. So, it's 3 of us with Vardy. Very concerned about lack of penalties. Goal attempts. Now, he's not too bad. He had a couple there. They were both in the box, and he was quite far advanced. And he also created a couple of chances as well. So his stats weren't. I mean, they weren't like Kane, as in 0, 0, 0, 0. These were actually. He was actually doing something. he looked a bit rusty. I mean, he wasn't putting them away. There was I seem to remember one very easy chance he didn't put away, but I think he'll come good. But I think the lack of penalties is a problem. Mahrez is the one to get 5 goal attempts. He topped the goal attempts for Leicester. I mean, that's just below the best of the week, which was 6, which some strikers got. Gray as well, I think, looked very good.
It was interesting to see the team sheet. I was shocked that he played Gray and Musa. It was odd for me because I felt that he kept faith with the 11 in the Community Shield, and then he changed it at half time in that match, and then he just completely went. I don't know if he went on the front foot because he thought Hull were there for the taking, but he got it very wrong, didn't he, Ranier, if that was the case, and Hull turned them over. And I do think the balance of the team, as we've already said, looked wrong. A lot of people have been just showing all their Leicester players the exit door. I mean, I think earlier in the week, of the 5 top transfers out, Leicester had 4 of them. So Irish Magister asked, well, what do we think of Leicester? People are losing confidence everywhere. Are they right to do so, Granville?
I think the problem is that Leicester players are they now look overpriced. Just in the one game, you think of the price that we were paying for him last season. Mahrez, what was he, 6? Started Vardy 6.5. It was something.
Vardy was 6 and Mahrez was 5.5.
Okay, so even better. And now you consider they're almost, that's an extra 10 million for the 2 players. It's a lot. It's a lot out of your budget. You've got to have confidence in them, and I think people's confidence will wane very quickly. They don't start getting results. It's not like United or a team that you expect to City to challenge for the title every year. It probably was a one-off last season. We don't know. We're yet to see, but it probably was, and so that's why people lose confidence so quickly in the. I wouldn't consider them their big side, but I might be wrong about that. I think the Leicester are going to struggle. I think at the back as well, and that changes everything. Changes the dynamism up front. The fact that they haven't got Kante covering them and Huth was missing, they did struggle. I think without those 2 players, and we'll have to wait and see how they get on in midfield because I'm not sure. Gray's quite young, isn't he? He looks quite raw. And Drinkwater didn't have a particularly good game. So
I think old Brighton and Okazaki will be back in.
They've got good fixtures though, I think, Leicester. So they're worth. I still think they're worth hanging on to.
Yeah, I mean they've got 4 in home. They've got 4 at home in the next 6. So I think if you're holding. I'm certainly going to hold. Mahrez is going to stay for me unless he really shows regression. I don't think he will. Vardy, obviously the most sold player this week, and I think the stats are disturbing, as John T touched on as well. But I think if Okazaki and Whiten come back in, which I think they will, then we might see a return to the pattern of last season. Andy, what's your confidence like on the Leicester players?
Yeah, so I have Vardy. And I think he was a bit rusty. He did miss some chances that last year he would have put away no problem. So I'm not overly concerned. Arsenal up next, who haven't signed a new centre-back. There's still news that Koscielny might not be ready. So they've just shipped 4 goals. So they're not going to be exactly high on confidence. And also the way I've looked at it is I don't really know who I'd bring in. So if I want Ibra or Kane, I have to take a hit, and I don't think I want to do that. Even though after Ibra scored, I was really up for it, but I think now I've had time to think. Don't think I want to take a hit for that. And then if I go down, Rooney maybe, but really I want Ibra. Costa, I don't know. I like Costa, but I just think he's going to be a nightmare to own. You're just going to be worried.
We can't trust him, can we? We're watching that game the other night. He had to go for that challenge. It was.
Yeah, I didn't see the game, but that's all I heard was that should have been.
It was his first yellow. If he hadn't been on a yellow, he'd have got a yellow for that.
Oh well. Lucky not to get a straight red, and we just can't. I don't want to watch a match with Costa in it, and you're walking that tightrope all the time. Will he get a chance and take it, or will he get a booking? And it almost feels like it's 50-50 when you watch him play. It's like, well, he's either going to score, or he's going to get sent off. I'll get one or the other. Too much of a swing. I want my striker to get me a goal, and all I want to be worried about is he going to get the free bonus. With Costa, it's like, well, he's not going to get bonus because he's going to foul.
He's going to stay on the pitch.
Yeah. It's a shame.
And the only other one around that price would be Lukaku, and he's we don't even know if he's going to play. So I don't want to go down to a £6.5 million player. So I'm going to keep. Hopefully, to get a goal against Arsenal, people will stop selling, and then we've got Burnley at home in the fourth game week. So yeah, keep for me for now.
Yeah. Okay. Another question, John T. Tadic, I believe, has come
Yeah,
up.
well,
You're a fan of him, aren't you?
I am a fan of him, and it's quite good. So Ricardo Vazas, I'm actually secretly happy that he didn't score. Well, obviously, I'm always delighted to get just 2 points from a player.
Yeah,
but,
I would imagine.
But it's because he keeps him off the radar. And, well, I mean, I disagree, because last year he was putting in the points and he still stayed off the radar. He's like a visible man as far as the FPL masses go. So, yeah, I mean, he was the top creator, the top chance creator, 6 chances he created. But he's also pretty attacking as well. So this is goals imminent time, first one of the season.
I'm surprised you didn't roll out somehow in game week 1.
I know. Well, here it is, and he is on that. I mean, you've got a list of De Bruyne, Andre Gray, so people have got him. Hang on to him. Firmino is there. Llorente, 6 goal attempts, 5 in the box for Swansea. Very impressive. And Tadic is there, 4 goal attempts. So yeah, I mean, we knew where he was playing. I think they're gonna points are going to come there. The big issue is Redmond. Now Redmond's offering that type of threat, that type of plus. He got the FPL points in game week 1, so 10 points I think he got. For me, I mean, as you know, I love doubling up sometimes, and I think if Southampton's attack's good and Redmond and Tadic are there, I don't have a problem with getting both. I think there'll be lots of goals there. I remember I had Pele and Tadic before for quite some time. Yeah, one gets goals, 1 assist, great.
I think you're going to hold on to a game week 8, aren't we? Because we're banking on Southampton always doing well in game week 8. But I think this is it. I wrote this week about is Redmond going to just blind us to the potential of Tadic, because everyone's just like, right, I've got to get Redmond. And I think, to be honest, that's pretty much the case. But I did look at Tadic's numbers, and very impressive. He's hugely impressive towards the end of last season as well. He's good for 7.5. He's going to deliver value, and it's just whether or not you've got the balls to go, right, I'm going to double back this Southampton team and get them both. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I want to from a side like Southampton, because I think they can run hot and cold. Although it's a new manager, so that might not be the case, but in the past that's the case. Andy, your thoughts on Tadic? You're a Redmond man as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got Redmond. I do like Tadic, and his stats are good, but so are Redmond's. Tadic got 6 chances created. Redmond still had 4, and he had more shots in the box than Tadic. So I just think the value right now lies with Redmond. Obviously, you're paying a bit more with Tadic because he is likely to be more nailed on. Redmond could get replaced by Austin at any point, but right now I think if most people are gonna just get a choice of one, then it's going to be Redmond right now. But I do like Tadic. Just think Redmond's the man right now.
Granville, you concur with that?
Yeah. No, I'll go Redmond. I mean, I'm not going to get Redmond this week because I do have to get rid of Andre Ayew. If he's not going to be playing next week, then I can't really sit on him. And plus, he'll be going down in price. So it's like looking: do I go upgrade or downgrade? I mean, at the minute, Redmond looks about the best bet. I could go with maybe Lamella. But the trouble is that they play United next week. I'm not sure on Friday. I'm not sure whether I can back a Southampton player at Old Trafford. So maybe I'll leave it a week and look elsewhere.
That's fair enough. John T, shall we move on to another question? We've got another midfielder question.
Yeah, well, this is Cazorla. So I don't know if anyone noticed, when all those goals were flying in, but
He sneaked on, didn't he?
Sneaked on and got a couple of assists.
Yeah.
Created a couple of chances, brought 2 assists, 5 crosses, so he's looking good. For those playing the Sky game, Cazorla is a bit of a legend in that game, so it's great for him to be back for those players. And in FPL as well. Now he's 7.5. He's gone down a bit. Very injury hit last season. I'm a big fan of his. And I believe he's on penalties. It was a bit of a mess who's on penalties in the Arsenal game because so many regular penalty takers were absent. But Walcott appeared to be on them. But I think Cazorla will be back. I like him a lot. I just don't like Arsenal's fixtures at the moment.
No.
And I think there's so many other teams with so many great midfielders and with so much better fixtures. I'm keeping an eye on Cazorla myself, I don't know what you three think.
I think it's too crowded, isn't it? The Arsenal midfield. Ozil's going to come back in, and I don't know what they're going to do. Play Chamberlain and the holding pair. It's difficult. Granville, what's your view?
I'm not convinced that he's going to start the game. That's the trouble. That he didn't start. I guess that he hasn't been. Maybe wasn't 100% fit. Because I quite like Iwobi. I think he's quite an understated player. I think he's I think he's going to be definitely going to be an ever present, and at the price maybe it's he's six. I think he's 6, isn't he? 6 million.
Iwobi, I think, is 6 or 6.5. Yeah. Do you think he's an ever present? I mean, he gives balance to the team when he's there because Sanchez can go to the right, and that seems to work quite well. So Wenger likes him. I don't know. I think Cavola's going to end up playing the 10 at the weekend because Ramsey's going to be out. I don't know if Ozil's going to be pushed back in. I think Ozil will be on the bench. So I think he'll give Cavola a go at number 10 maybe. And he might do it, but I just think Ozil's a shoe-in there because Wenger's got to play in there. That's the only place Ozil will play. So I think Cavola deserves a start in that Arsenal team. I don't know where it's going to come. I presume it's going to come in the pivot eventually, and then Ramsey will be benched. But there's so many unanswered questions. They suddenly look like they don't. I don't know. I don't know if Wenger knows his first 11 now. He seems to have so much quality in midfield, but not at the back or up front where he really needs it. And
and is Giroud going to come straight in? You'd imagine so. They need a striker.
Well, he will. I think.
Just depends on how Walcott performs.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to see Cavola in there, but I just don't see it. Andy, you were saying?
Yeah, so I think it's just like you said. There's too many players, so I think Giroud will come back because I don't know if Sanchez has been that great in the last game he played and the one in pre-season up front. Walcott has now come out and said he's not a striker. He's he's a right winger, so I don't think he's going to get another shot out there. So I think Giroud will come back here, like you say, Ozil will go to 10, and then suddenly there's a lack of spaces for all the rest of the players. So Sanchez will probably go left and maybe Walcott right, which that puts Iwobi out the team. And then Cazorla will probably play in the 2, but they've got 3 other midfielders that can play there as well. Xhaka, Elneny, and Coquelin. Yeah, so it could be good at 7.5. Like you say, he's probably going to be on penalties, but I just think there's too many questions there and too many players to worry about. So I think he'd be one for me later in the season, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. John T, question on defenders to round off before the weekend preview?
Yeah, well, this is quite interesting. We only had 2 clean sheets in game week 1.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't like that.
The special one, and Nini G asked which defence go for the coming game weeks, given these lack of clean sheets. So, I mean, I've had a little look at the fixtures and the various computer bods at Fantasy Football Scout reckon that Palace, Everton, West Brom, Man U and Middlesbrough are the places to go for potential clean sheets. And looking at their fixtures, I think there probably is 2 or 3 for each of those. I myself have Foster and Johnny Evans, while Johnny Evans is fit, so hopefully he will remain that way for a while. And so I'm quite happy to double up on West Brom. In fact, this week I will be doubling up on West Brom.
I think the Everton defence is probably the most intriguing because Koeman's playing, or we did play 3 at the back, and then that pushed Baines on against Spurs. If he keeps that at West Brom, which is not set in stone, I think Baines is suddenly interesting again. I mean, I look for any excuse to get him in. Ashley Williams as well. Funes Mori, if he can keep his place. I think Everton have got a lot of interesting players back there. Palace, I don't know. I like Scott Dan, and beyond that, I don't like to take a risk on. West Brom, I've got Johnny Evans. United, I've got Valencia, and Borough, I've got Friend, so I've got them covered. I look at Van Aanholt with Sunderland, who's got 4 and 6 at home, maybe. It's not easy, is it? I was expecting more clean sheets early on, but maybe that's not going to happen. Granville, do you see any bankers in terms of defenders?
No, I definitely think West Brom. I think he might actually go for a second one. I think Swansea actually done all right because they've got a couple of 4 million defenders, which are, have attracted quite a lot of interest. Amat and Kingsley. I think they may be a chance. I mean, they were quite good actually, a lot better than we thought they'd be at the weekend. And I guess Everton, but they're just we don't know we don't know who's going to be playing and whether they're going to be playing 3 or 4 at the back. They're looking at signing. They're not looking at signing another centre back. Yeah,
they're looking at Lamina Kone as well from Sunderland. Yeah. And I think if they get every sign he's going to play the 3 at the back, which is great news for Coleman and Baines when they're both in the side. Baines, I'm going to be watching every week. I mean, I'm even toying with the idea of that being my transfer because I need to get Van Dijk out. I think. I don't know if I want to gamble that early on Baines, but I'm going to be watching his stats because as soon as he shows the intent, we know he's got the quality. Let's forget free kicks and penalties. It's just those assists. We know he can. He's had a season where he's got double figures for assists. Andy, your view on defenders? I mean, are you buying into this Everton lark, or are you just not having any of that?
Yeah, no, I really like Everton's fixtures right now, and I think Williams will probably start this week, and he'd be. I mean, Coleman and Baines would be great attacking wise, but I think for $5 million, you're not going to get much better value right now if he gets starts than Williams. I think he's going to keep picking up the bonus points, and the fixtures are great. So he's one I'm looking towards right now.
Yeah. But isn't Coleman's injured though? Isn't he?
Coleman's not playing at the moment. McCarthy played right wing back or in midfield. But, when he's back, I'm saying, he's definitely going to benefit. Perhaps he's got more about him than Baines at this stage in his career, because Coleman's got the energy and he can score goals from open play, and Baines is more about set pieces. So, I do like Williams as well. I'm looking at that because it is cheaper and it's the CBI. He's a monster. In a clean sheet scenario, it's going to be about Williams unless Baines can get the crosses in. So, really, it's going to be interesting to see if Williams goes straight in that team and starts producing the same stats as he did at Swansea. All the talk is he will. So, for me, it's Everton. That's the one I'm looking at. That's the interesting one, because the others I've got covered, and Palace, I just don't trust as yet. I just don't see it. John T, are you going an Everton defender yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting to see, because as you said, they've got this potential for 3 centre backs. So Williams coming in, and what happens with Funes Mori as well. Will he be a regular there? I mean, he's good. We know he's got a goal in him as well. And I think Baines is a little bit yesterday's man, but and I think for that price, there's so many other There's for 5.5, you've got the fullbacks at Manchester United. You've got Stones at 5 million, so you've got a lot of competition in that group. But yes, I am looking at it because they've got they've got West Brom. I don't think that's as good a fixture, but then they've got Stoke at home, Sunderland away, Middlesbrough at home, Bournemouth away. They're great fixtures, so I'm giving them a week or two. But yeah, I do agree. Williams is what I'm looking at.
Okay, let's do the weekend preview. Let's try and find some clean sheets. There was only 2 on offer last weekend, the first weekend of the season. Personally, I hope there's a few more this time around, because it just makes it more scoring, higher scoring sometimes, with some clean sheets back there as well. So let's look at this clean sheet. John, did you want to go first? You have first pick. I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for West Brom again. I know it's Everton. I don't know whether Lukaku's going to play or not. I don't know whether Lukaku wants to play or not. It's almost immaterial if he does play at this moment. We just don't know. I think that Everton are in a bit of transition. They're sorting themselves out. They're all a bit, they're a little bit uncomfortable. Pants are right.
Uncomfortable themselves. Haven't found themselves yet.
Haven't found themselves out. They're all a bit ants in pants. So I think West Brom there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Granville, your call.
Well, I'm going to back actually Swansea at home to Hull. I think it's a good fixture, particularly. I mean, looking at that 7.5 million IU to somebody, and I could get Siggy, but I could also downgrade someone like Terry and free up a load of money for Kingsley. It is an option, but I do think that they're going to keep a clean sheet actually.
I just can't see Kingsley keeping his place with Taylor coming back. I think Matt is a different story, but I think Kingsley's a great player, and I think Kingsley deserves to keep his place. I don't know whether he will. Taylor's just got that experience, so it'll be interesting. He doesn't deserve to get dropped. I think he played brilliantly, and he played really well when he came in last season as well. I think he's got more about him, but I just don't know. I think
don't know the manager. I mean, it depends. Don't know what the manager's thinking, but I think the fact that they played pretty well at the weekend and they got clean sheet, I'm sure he's going to keep the same side.
Okay, maybe. Andy, do you want to go next and pick the obvious one that's left?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think I'm going to pick the obvious one. I'm going to back United for Friday night game, first game at home for Mourinho. Pogba hopefully starting. I'm going to back against Tadic and Redmond for this week. I think United could keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think 18 clean sheets last season, and most of those came at Old Trafford. Mourinho first game. I mean, they were careless to concede to Bournemouth, weren't they? Really, that's it. Southampton have got a bit about them though. I don't know.
I think it'd be quite a tight game. I don't see United putting many past Southampton.
Tadic loves a bit of Old Trafford action. He took his shirt off, full on abs show there. We all like to do that when we score against United. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. Friday night as well. United could be late in the pub. It's going to be a strange one watching a deadline kick off on a Friday night and watching a live game. It's going to be very odd. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've got to go Spurs at home to Palace because I've got Townsend, and I think Townsend will cause some problems. Again, he's got a grudge to bear there with his old club, so I think he's going to be a risk. But Palace haven't got a striker, have they? And I just think Spurs at home a good option. I think Walker did well. Walker and Rose looked really good against Everton, and I think that they may well be in profit again with a clean sheet and attacking returns. So I'll go Spurs. I also think that West Ham, Bournemouth. There's a few here. On paper it looks like there's clean sheets here, but early in the season it's just so unpredictable. Defence is still settling down, so I suppose it's difficult to say. But I'll stick with Spurs. Fancy on a risk, Jonty. You've got yours. This is a good one, I think. Is it a risk? I suppose it is.
Well, yeah, I think he's got about 5% ownership, if that. And West Brom again, Rondon. He had the highest amount of goal attempts of game week 1, and he scored as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of this. I think we're going to see a lot of 1-0 to West Brom and Rondon on the sheet with a few bonus.
Yeah, they're talking him up, aren't they? I mean, he does look the part. He looks fitter.
He looks very good.
He's strong. They got. I mean, the thing is, they got Phillips to swing in the crosses, and Phillips is a crafty assister. We saw it with QPR. He knows how to lay the ball, and knows how to put the crosses in, and Rondon looks a handful. So I agree with you. I think he's the best 6-5 option. I was looking at him before, and I went with Gray, and I regret it now because I look at Rondon's fixtures and think he's got 3 or 4 more goals in him in the next month. So yeah, good option. I think he'll do well. It's all about the Everton defence. It depends if Williams slots in and makes them more secure straight away. I don't know though. They're in transition, like you say. So I think West Brom are a good bet. Granville, your pick?
I'm gonna back Swansea.
You love the Welsh tonight, don't you? Blimey.
Well, I'm not going to go for the. I mean, it wouldn't be right to go for Siggy. He's not really a risk, is he? So instead, I'm going to go for the man who did a bit of damage at the weekend. That's Routledge in terms of threat. Let's have a look. I did actually look here. He did have a few crosses and goal attempts. He did have one on target.
And 5 goals pre-season as well. He was a bit of a star pre-season. So yeah,
he had 6. Yeah, there it is. So he had 6 crosses, 3 successful, and created 4 chances. So he was well involved. I guess that the trouble is that Llorente didn't finish anything off at the weekend, but I think that will change.
Yeah, no, I think Swansea against. The thing is, are we writing Hull off again? I mean, it's just that was extraordinary watching them. They did so well against Leicester. Snodgrass looked a player. He looked, he didn't get his chance when he got injured last time they came up. But I don't know whether Hull are going to roll over at Swansea there. I guess it's going to be a bit like Leicester last season. We were expecting Hull to get thrashed every week, and then when it doesn't happen, we'll go, well, it'll happen next week. And maybe we're doing that already, but we'll see. I mean, yeah. It's difficult. I think Llorente's a good option, but Routledge, that is Maverick. Andy, your pick?
Yeah, I think I'm going to, I don't know if this counts, but Arnautovic playing at home against Man City, only owned by 2%. He had a pretty good first game. I know it was against Middlesbrough, but I just looked up his stats. 2 chances created, 5 goal attempts, 4 of those were in the box as well. So I think Man City's attack looks like, after tonight's game, it might be starting to click a bit, but defence-wise, I'm hoping they can break through.
Well, this is it. They're playing this formation where the fullbacks kind of get forward into midfield. Yeah. And Alfred is going to play out on the wide areas, I think, in a 4-3-3 probably, at home. And he loves a big man. He loves playing against the bigger teams. We've seen it before where he's ripped up the big team. So he'll raise his game. Arnautovic is a good pick on the cusp of a risk. I'll give you a risk. I'll give you Januzaj for Sunderland. I think he's going to. He came on and he looked like he had a bit about him. He looked like he had a point to prove, and I think Moyes is going to start him at home to Middlesbrough. I don't see many goals in it, but I think there could be some value in Januzaj. I liked him when he first cropped up. I want him to do well, and I just think he looked like he had the devil in him when he came on. So I'll go Januzaj at 5-5. Jonty and Granville rather. I mean, what's your view on Januzaj? United have got rid. He had potential. Do you fancy him at all?
I think maybe he's gone past that stage. That he would have to have a really good season for Mourinho to look at him again. I think. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think he's not mature as a player yet. It's going to take him quite a while. What he needs is that full season behind him, injury-free season, and he hasn't managed that yet. So we'll see. Time will tell with him. But I do hope that he has a good season, because I think he has tremendous potential, of course, and he's he has come through the ranks more or less.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Andy, you were saying?
Yeah, sorry. I think he's a bit like Makeda for United. He came on and scored some pretty important goals, but other than that, didn't really do a lot. But Moyes, he wasn't. I don't know. I don't think he was that good. But Moyes really likes him. He's kind of come out and said, "Look, now is the time where you have to play and show that you can do it." So I think he's going to get a good run of games, and hopefully that will help him. So I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, 5-5. I just think that he's got a point to prove, and there's attitude issues perhaps. We'll see how he adjusts to life in the North East, and I think Moyes believes in him, and I think we're seeing it with Sterling as well. Sterling again tonight for Man City. When managers put their arm around a player, some players react really well to it. Sterling's doing it under Pep, and I think Januzaj might well do it under Moyes again. So we'll see. Okay, transfers and captains. Is captains a foregone conclusion? We've all got Aguero, and after tonight, are we looking beyond him? I'm probably not. I haven't really got many options, so I'm going to stick with him. Hat-trick tonight. Missed 2 penalties as well. Crazy night for Aguero. But I've got to go with him. Granville, your captain?
Yeah, you have to go with him. Whilst he's fit, you got to get this in this window whilst he's fit, back him every week. I can't really see anyone else, to be honest with you. I think it's exactly the same. There's no other big hitting options. I don't have Ibrahimovic. If I had him, I'd consider it, but then do I want to blow my load on a Friday night?
Well, this is it. The Friday night captain. That doesn't look very attractive at all, does it?
Well, I guess it's no different because there's no game on Monday, so it's still only 3 days. It's no different to blowing your captain on a Saturday and not having any player say on a Monday. But
I don't even like blowing my captain, so to speak, for the 12:45 or 12:30 kickoff. I don't like having the early kickoff on a Saturday even, because there's nothing worse than the whistle blowing and you go, well, that's my captain gone. And you look in the mini league and everyone else has got their captain there.
And I had Vardy and Mahrez in that first game, and I came out all right. I guess I got an average of 5 points per player, which is minimum. So yeah, I was a bit worried. I mean, he got a lucky penalty really. But yeah, I don't like it in the first game, and I don't think I'm going to back. Even if I have Ibrahimovic, I think you're right. I don't think I'll back him for the captaincy because Aguero is just too strong at the minute.
But it is closer in the poll than I imagined. I mean, he's running him close, but I mean, obviously you're going to go Aguero. That goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have Aguero definitely. Because he's just I mean, as Granville said, you've got to have him while he's on form. But in terms of transfers as well, I mean, as I said at the beginning, I've only got one player that I'm not happy with, and that's Vardy. So I have money in the bank. I've deliberately left 1.5 in the bank for this moment, so I could get Ibrahimovic in and have this very nice, very easy front line. But I'm not sure. Do you know what? Wayne Rooney's tempting me.
I think you're going to get Ibrahimovic.
But one of those two is tempting me because it's just, I think Rooney's going to kind of pretty much equal score with Ibrahimovic. I think they're going to assist each other. I think if Man U do well, I think they'll get a goal apiece. I think that what we saw at Bournemouth will happen a lot. And then that leaves me with even more money in the bank, more flexibility. But I can't think who to spend that on at the moment. So at the moment, probably Ibrahimovic, because I don't know what else I would spend that money on at the moment.
Do you think you're ever going to captain him though? Because I'm just looking at now, and you captain Aguero to every game until the Old Trafford derby, where you might consider not captaining him. I don't know. You might consider captain Ibrahimovic, but then even after that, City are at home to Bournemouth, and then they've got Swansea. So, do we want to be spending 11.5 million on another striker who you're never going to captain?
Well, I don't really see it as the price as such. It's more the player. I mean, is he a good striker who's going to score lots of goals? And he is, I think. And so whether he's 30 million, 6 million, but the thing is, I mean, I mentioned players like Rondon as well, and Gray could come good, and then you've got Negredo, another very popular transfer in. You've suddenly got all these 6.5, and then Defoe. We haven't mentioned Defoe, 7 million.
Yeah, the money's tempting, isn't it? This is the thing. It's the money.
That's the thing. But I can't think. But yeah, I mean, I don't particularly want De Bruyne at the moment, and I don't particularly want Sanchez at the moment. So at the moment, and also I don't really want to ditch any of my midfielders. So at the moment, I can't quite think that far ahead as all that money. What shall I do with it? So I think I've got the money. I might as well get Ibrahimovic. But if he goes up in price before I make that move, then the decision's made for me. I can't get him. And yeah, as I said, Rooney I think is a good option.
Yeah, I'm not surprised actually. I was impressed by Rooney at Bournemouth, and I'll be watching the United game with that in mind as well, because it is that United cover, and we don't know if he is going to keep parity with Ibrahimovic, but I think there's a chance of that, and it's 9 million. Andy, your views on Rooney, surely, and also your captain, I presume, is Aguero, but do you think Rooney is that alternative to Ibra?
Yeah, and the thing with Rooney is he doesn't need to necessarily keep up with Ibra because he's 2.5 million less. So if he does get the odd point or two less every week on week, then it's not the end of the world because you've banked that money elsewhere. So yeah, his stats were pretty good in comparison to Ibra. I don't know. I mean, Ibra's still the big money pick. I think he's who I'd prefer. But if they keep playing like they did, maybe Rooney will do pretty well.
So Aguero, your captain, then, is it?
Yeah, I just think 54% of the game don't own him and can't captain him. I just want his points while he's fit, like Granville said. If it was later into the season and I was chasing, perhaps I'd consider like Firmino against Burnley away. But yeah, it's going to be Aguero, no questions asked.
And your transfer, Andy?
Yeah, so I kind of want Ibra, but I don't know if I want to take a hit for him. And then it's like a psychological thing because if I don't get him this week, then I'm getting him one game before an international break with Man City straight after.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's now or never, but then I don't think Southampton's a good fixture at home. So I'm probably going to stick with Vardy because I might want Sanchez and De Bruyne soon, and I could downgrade him. So for now, I'm going to stick bank a transfer and play.
Yeah, bank a transfer. Okay, interesting. Right.
Yeah, there's no one else I want to get rid of. It's only Vardy, and like I say, it's either a hit or downgrading for players I don't even know if I want.
A lot of Ibra love, Granville. These two are tempted, aren't they? You're frowning. You don't fancy it.
I don't know. I was just looking at hit as well. It's just taking a hit, 4 points. When you've only got 51 points, you're taking 4-point hit. It's quite a big percentage of total score. Don't know. There's something that doesn't feel right about that. Especially after you've basically had a wild card. But I've got Ayew, and I need to get rid of him really because I don't want him dropping. And if he's not going to be playing for the next 2 weeks, he will drop, and I don't want that. I need to keep on top of that.
Your mind is made up there, isn't it?
So I've got, but I might spend the 4, and I really there's so many options. I'm bound to get it wrong. There's too many options actually. I could downgrade Vardy and get someone like Defoe, and then upgrade Ayew to maybe to Hazard or maybe Martial, and actually get that United cover. It could be an option. I mean, I know Martial wasn't really that involved at the weekend, but he's still got lots of potential. 9.5 million. Do I get Payet instead? I mean, West Ham have got decent fixtures. That is a really good option.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. We've got so much choice. It seems already, like we said last week, so much better than last year, as Brucey would say. It's just there's just that choice, and I think our teams are going to be different. It's interesting to hear Andy and John T talk about Ibra as if they're thinking of getting him. For me, he's still he hasn't done enough as yet, and I'm interested in the Rooney pick more so. For me, I'm just going to play safe. I think I'm going to stick to my transfer that I planned in, which was Van Dijk to Azpilicueta, which is incredibly dull. Yeah. But I've got to stick with Kane and Firmino. I think they're the two that I've got doubts about, but they've got good fixtures and they're quality players. But I'm worried about Kane. Part of me thinks, well, maybe I should bank the transfer in case I need to get rid of Kane next week. But I'll probably end up going Van Dijk to Azpilicueta.
I don't get that transfer at all, Mark. Why would you plan a defensive transfer second game week of the season? Well, you must have planned it before this week.
No, I had basically planned to get 0.5 in for a number of reasons. If Mahrez failed, I'd go to Hazard. If Kane failed, I might go to Ibra. But the mainly was I wanted Van Dijk at home for the first game for Watford for the goal threat and bonus. He didn't get a clean sheet. He didn't get anything. With the plan that I looked at Chelsea's fixtures from game week 2 and they were strong, and I wanted Azpilicueta from the start, but I didn't think West Ham at home was a great fixture, and they conceded. So I was kind of right, but I was hoping Southampton would keep the clean sheet. So I did plan it in, but I also like having 0.5 just in case there's a massive bandwagon and I need that money. So I don't know. It might not be. It might not be. I might even go to Williams. I might even downgrade and get $1 million in the bank. I might go to Williams, but I don't know. I just don't fancy Everton as yet. I want to see Williams in that team. So many choices, and it's great already. I think the season is already more interesting. There's talk of template teams, but I don't think that's in evidence yet. And I actually think when players like Payet and De Bruyne come alive, and Sanchez, then it's going to shake it up big time again, because people are going to have to free up money and maybe go with just Aguero and 2 mid-price strikers. So I think the potential is there this season. I mean, it's going to be great. I'm not fretting yet. 51 points is incredibly average, and there's pressure on me to do better. Lord knows I've got to do better in the next few weeks and get my team up that table. But I'm enjoying it already so far. So let's hope for a better game week. It's good night from me. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Andy. Thanks for the questions in the community, John T. And Granville, thanks. It's a shame about the suits. I really want to go. I tried a little bit formal. Well, maybe a jacket's on again.
No, shut up.
Nah, I think we should have done. It's a good night from me.
Good night.
And good night from me.
Good night.
Good night, all.